and go.
Hey, this is Taylor with Jagras. We're out here today on claim number 0769713032. Today's date is October 15th. It's 65 degrees, and the reason for this video today is to do a good faith repair video to see the repairability of these shingles, specifically this shingle here. JT, if you can bring this camera in for me. This is going to be the shingle that we're going to replace today, and these are going to be the 2 rows above it that we will have to remove nails in order to properly replace this shingle.
And of course, as you can see, wind crease. None of the rows above it have any creasing on them. We'll show this same view again at the end of the video so that you can see square on if there's any damage that resulted in the attempt to repair the shingle.
Right, so as JT said, today what we're going to be doing is this good faith repair video, and this is the tool I'm going to be using. This is a E-swing pry bar. It has a good angle to help get up under the shingle and properly break that seal loose. It's also got a good width to it, and this is the perfect tool for this job to lift these shingles and not create any unnecessary damage.
Absolutely. And Taylor, really quick, hold it up flat. The other reason we're really big on this tool is when you're laid flat with the roof, this is sitting at about a 25-degree angle. The manufacturer allows a 45-degree lift of the shingle whenever you're doing a repair. Anything beyond 45 is potential damage by the contractor. We want to make sure by using that tool that we're staying below that 45-degree mark.
Right, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by breaking these shingles loose, and then the row above it, and then the second row, excuse me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gently get up under the shingle, and I'm going to do a gentle side-to-side motion in order to try to release this seal on the shingle without creating any damage or any punctures or anything of the sort. And as I'm doing so, I'm going to check under the shingle for any mat transfer or debris. There is definitely debris on this one.
And you guys, you'll notice too, he's kind of keeping his hand flat on that shingle. That's so that on these older roofs, sometimes there'll either be one of two things. They'll be really, really, really hard to break loose, almost damaging the shingle even trying to, or they'll give loose very quickly, and then that bar will potentially slide or shoot underneath. By keeping your hand flat down on the top, if there's any quick movement of the bar, you're able to feel that before it happens and prevent that. The goal is to try to be as gentle as we can with this repair. We don't want any of the potential damage that may result to be as a result of us being too rough with the shingle. So we are overly gentle. Now, for those of you roofers that's watching that, you guys all know we've all been doing this for 20 plus years. Nobody's ever actually that gentle when they're doing a repair. It is very time consuming and not completely necessary, but for these videos, we want to give these adjusters everything that they need to make the appropriate decision for the customer. So we take that extra time, we're extra gentle with it, and that way we know for sure, hey, this is a brittle shingle versus, hey, it was just a roofer being too aggressive.
All right, and also while I'm releasing these and checking for debris and mat transfer, what I'm doing is I'm checking for the correct nail placement up under here to make sure there was a good install on this roof originally. All right. We do have some tar transfer here, not a whole lot of matting transfer that I've seen so far, but we'll see more whenever we get this shingle out.
And while he's doing those, when he's referring to a tar transfer, you can see your tar line should be nice and solid all the way across, right? That allows for an appropriate seal all the way across each one of these tabs. And under here, you can see right there in the corner, that tar is missing. You can see it right there by that nail head. That tar is missing, and then of course you can actually see mat transfer there. What that simply is if an older roof, whenever you're trying to get these broke loose, if it pulls the tar from the bottom shingle or pulls the matting off of the shingle above the tar line, whenever that goes to lay back down, it'll never seal back down properly. So the next windstorm that comes along, that's going to be the first tab that starts moving. So again, that's damage. That's not what it's supposed to do. On a younger roof, you will not see that happen. So,
and we do have that tar transfer on several of these, but I'll be able to show that a little bit better here in just a second.
Go ahead and take a peek at that one too. And then of course you can see right there where the sheen's missing. You can see it again by that nail. You can see it again there, and then you can see that build up stuck to the bottom of that shingle.
Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get under here and try my best to get these nails out.
And then, of course, you see our marks on the shingle beneath. That's where the nails should be. And, of course, you can see where he's going to get the nail out. So,
And
good install on whoever
this one
before.
here, this nail has already torn through that shingle, so that's going to be one I'm going to have to get out at the end before we put down the new one. This one looks like it's honestly going to try to do the same thing, and I'm being very gentle here to try to get up under it and not create any damage. But whenever these shingles are this old, a lot of the times the shingle will be so dry that you're not able to get that nail out without it pulling through that shingle.
And guys, you'll notice too, he's using nice, firm, steady pressure when he's pushing down on the pry bar. It's not an aggressive bump motion. It's just nice, smooth pressure. You can feel the nail begin to turn loose. It stops it from popping out and you potentially jamming the foot of the pry bar through the shingle. So again, trying to be super, super gentle when we do these.
All right, I was able to get this one up. I'm gonna have to reach up under it because it also pulled through this shingle. This is another, like I said, another sign that this shingle does have quite a bit of age on it.
And you'll see different ways. Some people will go underneath the shingle to finish pulling the nail out. Some people will take and just use a pry bar and pat the shingle down so that the nail sticks back up through it. It's already pulled through. You're not doing any further damage. It's really 6 in one and half a dozen in the other as to which way you want to do it.
That one came up as well, but it also pulled through the shingle. And I'm putting these old nails to the side over here to ensure that I don't reach for those and put them in whenever we do replace this shingle. This one here is also torn through the shingle. Yeah, it's going to be another one I have to get out towards the end. That way I can get that out. But as of now, it's torn through. So, and that one did as well. These shingles are really dry, which is what's most likely causing this.
And again, that's one of the things we're looking for when a shingle is super brittle. A good windstorm gets underneath and lifts these up. You can see if the nails are pulling through because it's dry and it doesn't have that pliability and strength of a newer shingle. That's why you a lot of times see some of the shingles come completely off of the roof, which we have in cases here. You can see down at the other end, we've got shingles missing, tabs missing. It's all a result from these shingles being super dry. It looks like a pretty textbook non-repairable roof, but we'll see at the end when we look at the final overall picture of the repair.
There's this one, and as you can see, it's got tons of debris on the back of it because it's pulling right through that shingle. It's so dry and brittle.
And guys, already if you'll look, just from the minimal movement you've seen, we've not came anywhere close to a 45. You can already start to see the creasing appear. The next rainstorm, we'll show this at the end, the next rainstorm or wind that comes through, all that loose granule, you can see just barely touching it with my finger. You can see the movement in the granule. Those creases will show up dramatically different once you get some rainwater that hits this and washes that out. But we'll show you at the end too. We'll bend down, and one of the things we like to do is just kind of blow on it or lightly rub your hand across it. We're not being aggressive with the hand rub. We're just wanting to show the full scope of the picture, that granule is broken loose because that matting creased. And we'll show that both with a light rub of the hand. We'll also show it by just blowing on the shingle, and you'll see the granule pulling out of those creases.
And another point as to a lot of these nails are pulling through the shingle. We have to remove the nails from this shingle and here in order to get this one out. So what's happening is whenever you're getting this top row out, it's actually pulling through this shingle here that's not being repaired, which is causing damage to that shingle. So, and of course I'm being extremely careful, as you can see, and it's still happening pretty easily. And as JT said before in the video, most roofers, especially doing a large number shingle repair on a roof, are not going to be this easy. So that one's pulled through as well. was a good install on this roof, though. All the nails are in the proper placement. Alright, so we should be able to pull this shingle out now.
I have that one that pulled through.
Yeah, we've got the one that pulled through. Try to grab a hold of that nail as best I can. Well, almost got it.
There it goes.
There we go.
Nice and easy.
All right. Okay, that's going to be all of them. What I'll do is we'll pull this out. And as you can see, JT, whenever I hold this up, what we have here is we have almost all of these nails have pulled straight through this shingle. And on that top row, you're going to have the same thing happen to one of the shingles that is not being replaced. So, all right, so this is going to be the shingle that we're replacing it with.
And again, here, while we got this up, again, look at that tar strip on the new one. You see it's solid, it's nice and neat. You can look at your tar strip down through here, and you can see the chunks where it's missing, where it's stuck to the bottom of that one. Again, whenever even we put this new one down, this new one is not going to seal completely down to this because you have mat transfer and you have loss of the adhesive because it transferred to the bottom of that matting. The only place it's going to seal good is the tar strip here, which is catching this shingle right here. So these shingles should seal back down good because you got a good fresh tar strip, but this new one that we're putting down is not going to seal down correctly because we have damage from the roof being too old, and you having mat transfer, both of matting to that shingle as well as the tar strip to the bottom of the shingle that was removed.
Right. And of course, like JT showed before, you also have some creasing here. And as you can see from this video, I'm not even remotely close to a 45-degree angle checking these out.
And I can show you guys really quickly. I'm going to try to get this on camera here. So you can see it. I'm about to just blow on this. You're going to watch this granule move. Now look how much that crease just showed up. And that's exactly what was going to happen with the next rainstorm or the next windstorm that came out. Here's the next one to it. You see how it doesn't show up very well. And now you can see it immediately. We want to make sure we capture that in the video because there's a lot of times when you lift these, the granules are loose, but they're still sitting in that crease line. So it doesn't show up as well on camera. We want to make sure we capture that. Again, we want to give these adjusters everything they need to make the appropriate decision. We're all on the same team trying to take care of the customer.
So, as I was saying before, I'm going to replace this shingle with a new one. This is an Allstate gray, which is going to be the closest match we have to this colored shingle with the wear and with the color loss that's already on it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this up in here into place. Alright, we'll make sure that my lineup is good from side to side and top to bottom. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these nails, new nails, back in, but I'm not going to put them in the same hole that they were in. I am going to put them in the correct placement in the tar strip, but maybe slightly over to one side or the other to ensure that we have a good hold on the shingle.
Yeah, and when he says in the tar strip, guys, we've actually got some questions on this before. It's not that it goes in the tar strip. It goes right beneath it, right? The shingle should sit down right over the top of it. So you should see it here or just above it, but never in it.
All right.
And again, you can see lifting that shingle, we're sitting at about a 35-degree angle right there. 45 degrees, it'd probably be another 1.5 inches, 2 inches higher. Sometimes it's easy to mix because the roof's sitting on an angle. So those shingles will look like they're at a sharper grade than what they are. Understanding a 90 would be straight up and down from that. And then of course your 45s will be kind of in the middle. So we want to hit that angle that we need to be at, never above it, because again, we want to make sure that we're not damaging the shingle. But as you guys saw, before we even started lifting these to nails, we've already got the creases on both rows, and it was never even close to a 45.
And what I'm doing is I'm seating these nails at an angle. That way the head of the nail will be flush with the shingle whenever it's properly seated all the way down.
And then you can even see just with the hammering,
We're getting even more granular.
yeah, where the
wash right here.
granules literally coming out just from the hammering. I'll get it up close on the next nail. But it's a direct representation of that granule being broken loose because the matting creased whenever we were lifting the shingles. So you can literally see the granule moving. And again, as the granule moves out of that crease line, the crease line just shows up more and more and more. Guys, this is a pretty textbook call. This is definitely a non-repairable roof. To repair one shingle and damage 3, that's never the goal. That's not a proper repair. And again, we just want to make sure we supply all the evidence needed for the adjuster to make the appropriate call.
All right. So that is the first one. I've got. All right. This granule is moving all over the top
Yeah, I
of
mean,
these
you can
shingles.
literally see it. Even on the shingles we didn't move, you can see the granule literally coming loose. That's how old and brittle this thing is. Again, just a little close up and you should be good. There's not one under that one.
Yep, so
Just
we're-
above the shingle. Now guys, I want to show you something too here. So again,
Let me move out of the
crease marks are clearly evident. All you got to do is screenshot this look right here and then screenshot the one from the beginning. You'll see that those were not there, but I want to show you something kind of neat. Okay, so you seen just barely lifting these, that it creased, you've got loss of granule. I'm going to show you something with this one, okay? We're going to lift this all the way to a 90. It's a 90-degree lift, okay? Now you see how that laid back down, and then look. No granule loss whatsoever because this shingle is still pliable, right? You can usually see that kind of flexibility, you know, year 0 through year 6, year 7 and 8, it begins to dwindle. Anything above that, that's when you begin to see this right here. But you can see I lifted this to a 90, twice as high as we lifted this. You've got absolutely no granule loss on it. So pliable shingle, non-repairable.
So in conclusion, I appreciate you watching this video. We're out on claim number 0769713032. I hope this is everything that you need to make the right call for your customer and mine as well. I think that from watching this video, anyone should be able to see that this is a classic non-repairable roof. If you have any questions, you've got my contact information. Thank you very much.
All right, guys, one more shot at the end. You can see your creasing. We're going to get up close and follow that all the way down. And you can even see how much of this granule came off on this right here. One more time for the guys in the back row. You can see that creasing all the way across. You see it. We only show these up close at the end because we have had times that the adjusters asked for that. So we've just kind of started doing that as a standard. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in.